So we talked about how you'd identify these 8 categories of AI regulations that have happened over the last 5 years. So let's dig into the AI Bill of Rights first, which is the one that I've heard about talked about the most in the US in recent months. And so you're the expert on this, but my understanding is that this comes from the White House Office of Science and Tech Policy. So tell us about the AI Bill of Rights. And also, I guess something that would be helpful here, maybe even the place to start, is what is the difference between something that is an executive order, like I believe this is the AI Bill of Rights, and other, like, I guess legislation that goes through Congress? Like, what is the difference there? Maybe that's actually a good place to start before digging into the AI Bill of Rights itself.
The Bill of Rights outlines how to build safe and effective systems, how to protect against algorithmic discrimination, bias, and protection, how to, what one needs to do in terms of making sure that data privacy is incorporated, explainable AI, and AI that puts humans in the loop. It kind of says, here's what you should do. And then Congress might come in. Currently, I think there's 150 bills um, being worked on, and private industry and other organizations are in there.
150 bills just in general.
In general,
Yeah. So they're not. So there might only be a few that are related to AI, but
yes,
Congress is working on 150 different bills, potentially
different bills.
enshrining them into law. Considering, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And they want to enshrine about, I think, 5 to 10 into law this year in 2024 and through 2025 that they've identified with the support of private industry, academia, the ones that they'd like to, put into law, put into practice, part of regulatory compliances, part of banking legislation, part of tech legislation, institutional data protection. That's where you got to make sure when you're building out the systems that you've checked the boxes for these data privacy concerns, these NIST notifications, these safe and effective systems as you're building, because then you've got a regulatory compliance. You have auditors that come in to really check and make sure that your systems are in compliance. And that's where that flow down comes from. You got the AI Bill of Rights, and then you've got congressional mandates, then you got regulations that are coming through. We don't have a lot right now because AI is so new, and that's why we all have to come together to really help and support um, developing and building out the right set of regulations so that you don't stifle innovation, you don't crush the smaller AI startups, and you allow creativity and innovation to really flourish.
Yeah, and getting that, it is critical that we strike the right balance in order to facilitate exactly what you're describing there. You don't want to stifle innovation. The EU, while potentially, in some digital privacy and some AI respects, seems, to my relatively uneducated view, to be somewhat ahead of the game relative to the US. There, that has also been associated with stifling innovation. I mean, there are not uh, household name tech companies based out of the US. Or sorry, based out of the EU. I said that completely wrong. They are mostly based out of the US. And whereas the EU has not had many well-known international tech companies, and there could be all kinds of other cultural factors there, but the thing that people point to more than anything else that I see out there is having uh, privacy regulations, for example, that are too stringent, and potentially in the future AI regulations that are too stringent, that lock down that innovation. But yeah, AI Bill of Rights. So basically, the AI Bill of Rights, that doesn't today have, um, there aren't, because it sounded there like the AI Bill of Rights came out, then Congress kind of figures out what to actually enshrine into law, based on potentially the AI Bill of Rights, and then we get downstream from that, we get regulations that are available to us to follow. So with the AI Bill of Rights as it stands today, it's um, it's a guiding light. It isn't actually something that we can go and look up today and say, based on this AI Bill of Rights, I know as a company what I can do, or I know what rights I have with AI as a consumer. It's just something that we can look up today, and maybe it gives us a sense of, if we're developing a technology, we can say, okay, based on this blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, I can expect that in a year or two, legislation that looks like this or regulations that look like this might be in place. And so, therefore, I'll want to be careful about how I collect data today. That's kind of how I can use the Bill of Rights today. Is that right?
Yes. So it's companies take the responsibility to really build these systems right, to build them in a way that protects the human, that protects the technology, protects the data. And then you bring in the National Institute of Standards. They've also introduced the AI Risk Management Framework, where they provide recommendations, they provide the requirements, and say, here's how to design, develop, use, and evaluate AI systems. You want to create multidisciplinary teams to address risks throughout the AI systems lifecycle. The risks that we talked about earlier in the podcast, ensuring inclusive design, responsible development, ethical use, continuous evaluation. Because AI is moving so fast, you got to continuously monitor in order to ensure that it remains safe and secure. And then there's also the aspect of, because there aren't any regulation, voluntary adoption. You encourage organizations to adopt the framework, demonstrating its benefits for risk management, for building trustworthy AI, providing resources, and supporting the implementation. There's also that aspect of collaboration and consensus that we talked about. Again, because AI and these systems and these data centers live all over the world, you want to foster that collaborative environment to ensure that the data is secure, to ensure that you're engaging all the stakeholders from various sectors in the discussion and decision making processing, because you want to leverage the collective expertise to refine the framework that we want to build out. And then managing risk to the individuals, to the organizations, and to society. Remember, AI cross country lines, so its societal impact can be large. So that methodology is important, that identifies, that evaluates, that mitigates all these potential harms to society, organizations, and the individuals around, again, privacy, security, and ethical considerations. And then alignment with global AI risk management initiatives. Again, that global perspective is really critical. And then, it drives that open, consensus driven, transparent, and collaborative development process that, we want to get into the mindset of doing.